What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's live stream. I'm just going to tag some more people while we wait here, and then we'll start here in just a sec. So today's training, excuse me, I lost my voice last night, but today's training is all going to be about the meal plan. That was the most requested one in the poll that I made the other day. So it's going to be all about training, the meal plan, kind of going over everything you need to know. And then we'll do like a little Q&A at the end. Any questions that you guys have about the meal plan, we can do a rapid fire there. So first off, hope everyone's having an awesome Sunday so far. Who do we got so far? We got Zach, we got Will. What's going on, brother? We got William. I hope you guys are all having an awesome Sunday so far. So we'll get going here in just a minute or so. Wait for some more people to come on, and then we'll hop straight into it. So how's everyone's Sunday going so far? Anyone watching the Euros later? England, Italy. I know I am, so that's going to be a crazy game, hopefully. But yeah, hope you guys are all having an awesome Sunday so far. We'll wait another minute or so, and then we'll hop straight into the live training. And also, by the way, guys, if you guys are watching this on the replay, we got 5 of you guys showing tuning in. If you guys are watching this on right now live, comment down below #live so I know who's tuning in. We got Zach, Will, and William so far. And then if you guys are watching this on the replay, #replay so I know who tuned in afterwards as well. I will be marking this as a live training. So if you guys didn't know already, there is a live training tab in the community, right? So all those ones that are pinned under live training, those are obviously covering a certain topic in more depth. So I highly recommend watching those if you guys want to kind of learn more about a topic that I've done in the past. So I'm going to try to do a live training every other week, and then a Q&A. So it's going to be a Q&A, and then the other weeks are going to be a live training. So I'm going to kind of go back and forth between the two, so you guys have some more options for the weekly live streams. All right, we got 6 of you guys on right now. Rudy, what's going on? Cool. Who else we got? So we got Zach, Will, Rudy. All right, I think we're gonna get started here. Again, today, guys, welcome to today's Sunday live stream. Like I said, today's gonna be training on the meal plan. So I made a poll yesterday, and by far the most requested option was the meal plan. So I'm going to go over that today, kind of give you guys some tricks and tips about the meal plan, and kind of hopefully make that part of the process of the program a little bit easier, okay? So I'll go through, I wrote some notes down that I want to cover. So we'll go through that training first, and then any Q&A, any questions that come up, or any question that you guys want to ask me regarding anything on the meal plan specifically, okay? This is a training on the meal plan. So anything meal plan wise, nutrition wise, we can go over any questions at the very end, and then that will be today's training. So let's hop straight into it. So the first thing I want to mention is with the meal plan. I get this question a lot, is you don't have to follow every single meal. You don't have to follow the meal plan to a T, okay? The meal plan is set for you guys for obviously a lot of you guys are newer. You guys have never kind of gone through a program or let alone tracked calories, macros, all of that stuff. So it serves as like a great tool to kind of give you more structure to follow obviously a meal plan, right? So it will definitely help you. The meal plan that I have designed for you is the most important thing is hitting those calories and those macros that I set out for you, and most specifically protein, right? So you don't have to, the meals that I put in that meal plan aren't going to make a big difference if you want to kind of substitute some of your own foods or ingredients into that meal plan, right? Again, the most important thing that I have set for you is those overall calories for the day and the protein target. The rest does not matter, right? If you want to substitute an apple for a banana or an orange, or you want to have oatmeal instead of like a granola bar, that will make zero difference at the end of the day, right? So that is first and foremost. I get that question a lot, is do you have to follow the meal plan? The answer is no. Again, as long as you're hitting those overall calories, those overall protein targets that are set out for you, then you are golden. You will make progress, and that's all that matters. Again, the foods that make up those numbers are not as big of a deal. Obviously, try to eat as healthy as possible. If you can follow the meal plan, that'd be ideal. But again, it's not gonna make a difference if you substitute your own foods for some of the foods or ingredients in that meal plan, right? Obviously, you guys are going out for dinner. You guys have a social life. You go for lunches and events, stuff like that. So you're not gonna be able to follow the meal plan 100% of the time, right? That's just life. So with that, I'll touch on this exactly in more detail in a sec here. But if you guys are deviating from the meal plan, I want you guys to track it via MyFitnessPal, right? So if you are following the meal plan to a T, you don't need to do anything else besides that. You're set. Obviously, you're going to hit those numbers. If, however, you want to substitute foods, you want to go out for dinners or lunches or events, and you're kind of deviating from the meal plan, then it's important to track, okay? And the best way to track, I actually just filmed a video on this in the masterclass video series that is almost done, by the way. I got a few more videos to film, but I'm hoping to have that done and launched for you guys probably in the end of the month. I'm looking for. So anyway, if you guys are deviating from the meal plan, okay, then I want you to track, okay? Because again, the only thing that matters is hitting those overall calories, those overall protein targets. I was gonna say macronutrients, but mostly protein is the most important. Then I want you to use MyFitnessPal, okay? I have a full-on in-depth training on MyFitnessPal as well. If you have never used MyFitnessPal, if you have never tracked your calories or macros, I will actually link it in the comments. I'll try to pin it in the comments of this video for you to check out. Again, tracking, guys, is super easy. It's kind of annoying in the first week because you've never done it, but once you do it after like a week, it becomes really easy. The reason why is because you have all the foods that you typically eat. I mean, most of you guys probably eat the similar foods from a week-to-week basis. Once you do it for like a week or two, it will save the foods that you log, right? So you literally have like, I don't know, like a pack of oatmeal, and then it's like 2 buttons. Boom, 2 packets of oatmeal, and that's it. So after like a week, after you kind of imported all the foods that you have on a week-to-week basis, it becomes really easy. It'll save those foods, and all you have to do is it's like a 2-button thing, and then it'll give you. It makes tracking a lot easier. Okay, so for those of you guys that have never tracked, I'd highly recommend giving it a try for a week or two, and then after those couple weeks, kind of once you've kind of imported all the foods that you have on a day-to-day basis, again, it becomes a lot easier to track because it has all of your meals saved. The cool thing about MyFitnessPal, again, the video that I'm going to link has a lot more detail, but the cool thing about MyFitnessPal is the database is so big. It is massive, right? Which is why it's probably the most popular tracking app in the fitness kind of industry, I guess. But with MyFitnessPal, again, the database is massive. So meaning most of the foods, I mean, pretty much every single food that you find in a grocery store will be in it. And the cool thing is literally all you gotta do is scan it. So obviously most foods have a barcode. With MyFitnessPal, all you gotta do is scan the barcode and then input however much you had of it, right? Really cool. Another cool thing about this app is anytime you go out to eat, most restaurants, it's getting bigger like literally by the day, will have their menu imported into MyFitnessPal's database. So you can literally type in the restaurant that you go to. So for example, let's say I'm going to the Keg tonight. So the Keg and then whatever the meal was. So the Keg, 7-ounce sirloin steak. It will, that meal, I've done it before, is in the database. So try first. If you go to a restaurant, literally type in the restaurant, type in the meal, and more often than not, that meal is actually in the database of MyFitnessPal, right? Especially if you're in Canada, US, and probably most of Europe, most of those foods will be in that database because again, that is a huge database and it has most of the meals and most of a lot of the restaurants, and it's growing pretty much every week. So again, I will link a more in-depth video. Again, if you've never tracked your calories, if you've never used MyFitnessPal, highly recommend getting it. It makes tracking not a non-negotiable pretty much. I will link that in the comments of this video after this video is done. I'll try to pin it from the top as well. And I highly recommend to check that out if you've never tracked before. The next thing is Again, I kind of touched on this already. The only thing that matters, guys, is hitting the calories that I set for you, okay? Calories is what will determine whether you gain or lose weight, okay? The macros is what's gonna determine your body composition, right? So you can be heavier but look good, or you can like lose weight but still look like crap, right? So again, this is really important. This is probably like the theme of this training is calories is what's gonna determine your weight, is what's gonna determine whether you gain weight or lose weight, and macronutrients is what's gonna determine your body composition, okay? So that's why those numbers are so important, guys. And the foods, again, the foods that make up those numbers are not a big deal at all. Again, you can substitute for your own foods. You go out, enjoy. As long as you're hitting those numbers, that's all I care about, and that's what will lead you to the progress that you're looking for, okay? So again, calories are king, and then with the macros, obviously I kind of mentioned this already. There's 3 macronutrients, right? 3 macros. We got protein, we got fats, and we got carbs, okay? Protein is the number one macronutrient. That's the one I kind of want you to hit, right? So calories and protein, that's kind of why I say calories and protein. Those are the 2 targets. That's all you gotta do. 2 targets per day is kind of what I want you to hit. The fats and carbs, if you're hitting those 2 numbers, will kind of fall into place, right? The ratio fats to carbs, obviously I kind of gave you a rough fat target and a rough carb target in the meal plans, but the ratio of the fats to carbs is even less important. Doesn't matter at all, really. If you're someone that prefers more starches or carb foods and you want to have a higher carb diet, by all means, go for it. Again, it's not going to change as long as that overall net calories is being met, right? I'll give you guys an example. So let's say your meal plan says 2,000 calories. So if that meal plan is comprised, let's say that 2,000 calories is comprised of, I don't know, let's say 125 grams of protein and let's say really high carb. Let's say like, I don't know the exact number, but let's say like 300 carbs and like 25 fat. That is the equivalence of the same calorie amount, the same protein amount, but the opposite. Let's say super high fat, let's say 75 or 80 grams of fat and like 100 grams of carbs. Obviously, I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head because you guys know 1 gram of protein is 4 calories, 1 gram of carbohydrates, 4 calories, and 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. But if you guys want to have a higher fat, if you're someone that likes avocados, nuts, peanut butter, oils, stuff like that, again, by all means, okay? So the ratio of fats to carbs specifically will not make a difference at all. Again, it's the net calories, and most important is the protein. As long as those 2 are being hit, then the fats and carbs will kind of fall into place, and you kind of have the option whether you want to lean more towards carbs or more towards fats. Just know that fats are more calorically dense. So if you're someone that doesn't want to eat as much food, then definitely opt in for more fatty foods. Obviously, like nuts are great, avocados, coconut oil, stuff like that. So that is the most important thing, guys. Calories is king, and then the macronutrients, as long as the protein's being hit, the fats to carb ratios does not matter at all. Again, I've set targets for you guys to follow. And again, the meal plan serves more of like a structured plan, structured program for you guys to follow in case you don't want to like think about coming up with the macros and calories, all that stuff, right? That's what it's there for, to help you kind of give you a structure to follow. But again, you don't have to follow it 100%. I got that question so much. You do not have to follow the meal plan 100%, as long, caveat, star, as long as the net calories, the net calorie goal that I set for you and the protein goals are being hit. That's all I care about. Those are the 2 most important things in the nutrition side of your program is calories and protein, right? As long as those are being hit, that is all I care about, and you will make progress off of those 2 targets that is set out for you. What else do we have here? So MyFitnessPal, substitutes, going out to eat, calories. Okay, so that's kind of the main things I wanted to touch on first. I know you guys probably have a ton of questions about the meal plan, because obviously this was the most requested topic today. So again, now guys, I'll open up the floor. Any Q&A, we'll do a Q&A about any of the questions on the meal. Let's keep it meal plan or nutrition related. Anything nutrition related right now, go ahead and drop those questions down below, and then we'll get through all of those right now. So just kind of summarize today's training, guys. You do not have to follow the meal plan if you don't want to, right? Obviously, the meal plan is there as a structured guide or a structured kind of guide plan to help you hit those targets. Because a lot of people have never followed a meal plan or just want to eat healthier. So that's kind of what it's there for. Obviously, it'll definitely help you hit those goals, but I'm assuming most of you guys have a social life. You guys want to go out to eat. And though there will be occasions where you cannot follow the meal plan, that's where it's important to use MyFitnessPal and just making sure that you're hitting those overall calories and macros. If you're doing that, you're gonna make progress no matter what. So let's go through a Q&A. Any questions that you guys have about the meal plan or about nutrition, let's drop them down below. I'm gonna see if we have any already. Let's see. Mark says, that's so cool, I should start using it. I'm really bad at tracking my food. So the cool thing about MyFitnessPal is its simplicity. It is so easy to use. Literally, I want all you guys watching right now in this after this live stream, go to the App Store, go to the Google Play Store, whatever phone you have, and download MyFitnessPal and just start tracking your food for 1 week. I know it might be annoying for a week, right? After a week, it becomes like habitual. It is so easy. It is literally, you open up the app. Again, the foods are already gonna be saved, so the first step you don't even have to do of like scanning it or finding it in the database. It'll already be there in the recents, right? Most people, myself included, eat similar foods on a week-to-week basis, right? So most of your weekly foods will be in that database or in that recent log, and you literally go in, you tap it, you write how much you had of it, and that's really it. Like each log should take less than 30 seconds. So honestly, like to me, it's a non-negotiable. It's really easy to do. There's no excuses. So again, if you deviate from the meal plan, then absolutely follow it. And I will link Mark. I highly recommend you go check it out. I made a YouTube video like a year ago in depth covering MyFitnessPal, how I want you guys to use it. So obviously there's different kind of ways. It's easy now, but most of the foods will have barcodes, as you guys know. You literally scan it and you write how much of it you had. If it doesn't have a barcode, again, in the video, I go over it in more detail, but you can literally search that food, and then any vegetables or any fruits, I'd highly recommend you guys searching USDA, and then whatever it is, USDA mangoes or USDA apple, because those readings are like really accurate. I think that's from the FDA. So again, super, super accurate. And those are kind of like the universal standards for those fruits and veggies. So again, I cover that more in detail in that video. But MyFitnessPal, Mark, I would highly recommend downloading it and then watching the video if you have never used it before. What's your opinion about the diet break? Diet break. So that's a great question. So there's kind of two things here. One is a refeed day and a full-on diet break. So I'm actually totally for diet breaks. I think they can really help, especially like mentally. So I would only incorporate diet breaks after like a long, like if you're going for a long period of trying to lose weight, a long diet, then diet breaks are definitely beneficial. But this is probably I would only do so maybe after like 3, 4, 5 months of consecutive dieting. Other than that, you don't really need it. I don't see a reason why you should need it. But diet breaks can definitely help you kind of get back on the wagon, especially mentally, and it'll definitely help you kind of reset your hormones, because after a long period of dieting, a long period of being in a caloric deficit, your body's especially leptin levels really drop, right? Your leptin connected to your metabolism. So after a long period of dieting, of consistently being in a calorie deficit, your leptin levels drop, your metabolism drops. So after like several months of dieting, then I'd recommend doing a diet break. These again are super beneficial, and you can use these maybe when you're going on vacation, or maybe you're a week of traveling, or a week where you're really busy. Then I would definitely kind of go back up to maintenance. So that's the most important thing with a diet break, is you still track. You don't completely go off the rails, but go up to maintenance calories, because that will help you reset your hormones, specifically leptin, which will help you fix or kind of raise your metabolism, so you're kind of burning more calories. And then once you re-enter that diet once you re-enter that caloric deficit, your metabolism is kind of reset, and it's kind of like starting the initial phase of that diet, right? It's a lot easier to kind of make progress right off the bat versus like 3 months down the line where you kind of plateaued and it's like really hard to kind of dip further in. So again, round off there. Great question. Diet breaks are awesome, but I would only recommend them after like several consecutive months of dieting. I don't see a reason for them if you haven't dieted like over 4 months in a row, to be honest. And then also with diet breaks, they usually last like a week or two. It's kind of the time frame for the actual duration of the diet break. So great question there. I don't think I've addressed that in these live streams yet. Mark, is under hitting a target as bad as exceeding it when the main focus is to cut off weight? Does that backfire at all? So guys, great questions. These are awesome. Mark, so with you, obviously you're in a fat loss program. Your main goal right now is losing fat. So is under hitting a target as bad as exceeding it? No, definitely not. Under eating is not as bad as exceeding it. However, I would avoid it. This is like this mistake is probably the most common mistake I see is especially for clients, I give them like a set target to reach for and they like heavily undereat, thinking that they're going to make progress faster. The reason why this is such a big issue, and I do not want you guys to do this, is because let's say I give you guys a calorie target to hit of like 2,500 calories. If you're like, okay, I'm only gonna eat 2,200 calories because I think I'm gonna make even more progress, right? Yes, you will initially, but the reason why this is such a big problem is you're gonna plateau like hard, and the lower your calories are, your body will adapt, guys. Your body will adapt to the calories you're feeding it, right? So if I set you a target of 2,500 calories and you're like, okay, I want to go faster, so I'm gonna go to 2,200 calories. Yes, you're gonna lose more weight like in the first week, but after you're kind of plateaued, it's gonna be even harder and harder to keep making that calorie deficit, right? Nobody wants to be starving. That's the reason why I think like dieting or like fat loss is such a stigma behind it, because most people like starve and it becomes so unenjoyable to diet because you're eating at such low amount of calories. Right? So that is why I do not want you guys to heavily under exceed. I mean, if you go under a couple times a week, that's totally fine. Again, it's more of like a weekly average I look at, but do not go too far below what I set for you, because it will, after you plateau at that new amount that you're setting for yourself, it becomes freaking hard to keep creating that calorie deficit, right? If I going back to that example, if I set you a 2,500 calorie goal and you're eating 2,200 calories, thinking you're just gonna make faster progress, and then you plateau, and then without me knowing, that would have been like my next kind of target. And then you kind of, again, you plateau and you kind of keep going 2,100, 2,000 calories. And then once you're like under 2,000 calories, it becomes, for a man, it becomes freaking hard to keep going. And you just get so hungry. And guys, the more you push it in terms of like caloric deficit too fast, the hungrier you're gonna get, the more likely you're gonna relapse, you're gonna rebound to kind of where you started. So again, I do not advise going too heavy, too much under what I set for you. That's why I make the adjustments, right? Every month it's adjusted to the progress that you make. So again, the calories will be lowered by itself. So again, to kind of round off that question, it's not as bad as overeating. If you're gonna do one or the other, definitely undereat, but don't consistently undereat to a point where your body adapts to that new intake and your metabolism like drops really fast. The best fat loss journey is one where you can eat as much food as possible while still kind of losing fat, right? That's how I do it, and that's the best and most enjoyable way to do it. Like, for me, it really only starts to suck in the last like couple of weeks. If I'm doing like a 12-week cut, really only the first 10 weeks they cruise by. Like, it's no problem. And the reason why I do that is because I start at such a high calorie amount, and I milk as much fat loss by eating as much food as possible. And I mentioned this last week, I only ever drop my calories if I plateau for like 4 or 5 days in a row. right? That's when you know your body's kind of adapted to that amount, and that's when you kind of gotta adjust one of the variables. But again, if you're losing fat by eating like the calories amount that I set for you, it's gonna be a lot more enjoyable than trying to starve yourself right off the bat. Because in 3 weeks you're stuck. You're gonna have to like do a diet break that I just mentioned. So a great question there. I don't think I've addressed that one either, and that's probably one of the biggest mistakes I see with the diets. The diet side of a fat loss journey. So awesome question there, Mark. Let's see, Min, what should I do when I diet for a while, but then the weight loss is just stagnant? Should I lower the cal intake, or should I stop the cutting phase and start lean bulking phase? So I addressed this in, I think 2 weeks ago live stream, but I'll address it now again. So there are several variables that come into play in a fat loss journey. So when you start a fat loss journey, think of it, you have like a toolbox to use, right? And most people, what they do is they use everything they have right off the bat. And yes, you're gonna lose a lot of weight in the first 2 weeks, and then boom, you're gonna be stagnant, you're gonna be stuck, and you're gonna plateau. It's gonna be almost impossible to break that plateau and keep losing fat. So some of these variables in this toolbox are obviously probably the most obvious one is your calories, how many calories you are consuming, right? And you obviously have control over that. Second is cardio, right? Third, you guys probably might not even be aware of it, is your NEAT, your non-exercise activated thermogenesis, NEAT. And that's just how many calories you burn outside of your intended exercise. So outside of your cardio, outside of your gym training or home workout training, just like me, like fidgeting like this. This is adding up to my NEAT. Or even like walking to the store, stuff like that. That adds up to your NEAT. And right off the bat, your NEAT is usually higher. Obviously, kind of the more food you have, the more kind of you fidget, stuff like that. So the higher NEAT, and NEAT kind of adds up a lot over there. You'd be surprised. So those are and the fourth one obviously is step count, right? So this is a big one as well. And this is easy to implement as well. So you have 4 kind of main tools to use in a fat loss journey. Again, what most people do, or a lot of people do, is they want to lose fat, boom, they cut their calories in half. Boom, they do cardio, an hour cardio. Boom, they go to the gym. So they're already exhausting so many of their tools, and in 3 weeks, it's gonna be like literally impossible to kind of create that new deficit. So, Min, great question. In your circumstance, if you have plateaued, only adjust one of those variables. That's all that's needed, right? The king again is calories. All you have to do is recreate that deficit. Once you're in the deficit, you're gonna break that plateau. So all you have to do is adjust one of those variables. And with you, so once you're at like a lowish calorie amount where you start to kind of feel hunger all the time, I wouldn't touch calories anymore. You also don't want to go too low on calories, because once you go too low on calories, you run the risk of becoming deficient in any micronutrients and minerals, which you do not want, right? That's obviously very important for your health. Outside of your fitness goals, it's very important for your overall health and well-being. So do not go for men I would say like 1,800, anything below 1,800. Do not go touch. And then for women, anything under 1,200, I do not want you in that range. In my opinion, that's too low. And kind of what I see anecdotally, at least, is just a lot of micronutrient deficiencies, which translate into a lot of cascading problems down the line. So anyway, once you feel like your calories you've plateaued off your calories, then start either increasing your step count. Maybe you do 5,000 steps per day. Increase to 6,000. Again, you don't need to do crazy like increments of any of these variables. Even like that's what makes the process a lot more enjoyable, is you're not going crazy right off the bat. You're kind of only manipulating variables slightly every week. And that's what kind of keeps the fat loss progress going over 3, 4, 5 months. That's how it's sustainable, because you're not doing these crazy like adjustments every week. You're changing one of those variables on a week-to-week basis, and that's kind of what gives the fat loss journey a much more sustainable approach. So once you've plateaued off nutrition, Min, then I would look into increasing your step count, 1,000 steps more per week. Or if you don't want to do that, maybe you're really busy, you can't really fit in more steps or a walk, then I would start adding in cardio, 20-minute cardio session And again, that's in the cardio tab of your app. Check that out if you haven't already. I go in depth, a breakdown of how I want you to implement cardio for all the fat loss clients in here, right? With cardio, maybe 1 to 2 sessions, 20 minutes per week. That's literally all you need to start off. And then once your body adapts to that, again, everything's about your body adapting. Once your body adapts to that, then maybe you can have a choice. Again, you can either increase the duration of those sessions, of those 2 sessions, or you can add another session of 20 minutes. So 3 sessions or 2 sessions of 25 minutes, right? Really depends on your schedule and what you want to do. The cool thing about fat loss is these variables are so flexible, and whatever you want to use, you can use, right? So not everyone has to cut all the for me personally, I love food, so I like to keep my food really high, and then I would rather just like play. For me, I love playing tennis, so I'm like a big fan for most of my cardio. I'll go play tennis or go for a walk, listen to a podcast. I would rather expend more versus like decrease my calories because I love food. So that's another one. Just increasing your cardio. Again, by every week, either increase by duration or frequency of that session. And then, yeah, those 2 variables alone will help you. That should last you at least 3 months that you can adjust on a week-to-week basis. So awesome question there. Will asks or says, it's easy once you get used to it. And it also easy to overcomplicate. If what you're eating is not in the app, deconstruct what you are eating and enter the ingredients individually. I find exactly. So Will's been in this now for I think just over a month, and he's pretty much nailed the fitness tracking or the calorie tracking. So honestly, at first, yes, it might be like a little tedious, kind of just because it might be so new to you, right? But once you get used to it, honestly, after a week or two, it becomes like second nature, habitual, becomes really easy, and there really should not be any excuses to not track. So again, give it a week or so, and then once you're, and then also another really awesome part about tracking, even like just for like a month or two, is once you, actually no longer than that, but once you track for a while, you start to learn. And guys, this is important like for like the rest of your life. You start to learn approximately, you can start to eyeball like, oh, okay, maybe that meal has about, you start to learn how much calories foods have, and then you can literally start eyeballing, okay, and then you can kind of approximate, because I don't want you guys to track for the rest of your life, obviously, but once you get this kind of really helps you give you those tools after you're done with the program to kind of learn approximately how many calories these foods have, what you're intaking. You can start like eyeballing, okay, that piece of meat has like 300 calories. Like it's cool, right? You start to learn these tools, and you can kind of gives you a way better like real life application of, okay, that meal has approximately so many calories. Okay, I know chicken breast is about blah blah blah, and you can kind of start eyeballing stuff, and it becomes a lot easier to kind of be in the approximate calorie range versus kind of free falling. But okay, maybe this day you're eating 3,000 calories, and the next day 2,500 calories, because that's where all the problems occur. Right, so great tip there, Will. Again, it becomes a lot easier after 2 weeks, I would say. Boom, boom, boom. Zach. Guys, by the way, awesome questions. This is great. This is more to do with breakfast. I usually never eat breakfast, but rather drink a can of V8. Usually eating in the morning gives me bad stomach pain. Is that pain normal for being overweight? And is it okay to keep drinking breakfast rather than eating? So yeah, I barely have breakfast. Maybe I have breakfast twice per week. I'm not a big breakfast person, more so because not of anything physical, because I find I'm more productive for like work-wise when I have an empty stomach, because digestion is a big process. Your body has to devote a lot of energy to digest that food. So for me personally, I skip breakfast 5-6 times a week, and then have my first meal around lunch. Totally fine. Meal timing. I'm surprised no one's brought this up yet. Meal timing is way overhyped in like the general public. Okay, meal timing is not a big deal at all. Again, the overall 24 hours that I set for you is what's king, is what's really gonna move the needle. In terms of when you have those calories, is not a big deal. I mean, it matters like slightly, but in the overall grand scheme of things, calories, macros, hitting those overall 24-hour targets is what's gonna move the needle. I just want to touch on this quickly. If you really want to go like hard on everything and optimize everything with meal timing, I would recommend splitting up your protein as much as you can, right? If you can split up your protein across 3, 4, 5 meals, there is like science behind this as well, to be more effective, because the reason why is because it activates muscle protein synthesis, which is the building of new tissue. And if you can maximize that throughout the day versus having a massive like bolus dose and a bolus amount in one sitting, versus like splitting it off into like 3, 4, 5 meals. That is ideal because then again, you're kind of spiking MPS more throughout the day, which can, over the long run, you're getting way more kind of muscle protein synthesis, which can yield to more hypertrophy. So that is one thing with protein. With carbs, I would suggest having most of them before the workout, like an hour, 2 hours before the workout, and then as well after the workout, right? Before the workout to fuel your workout, glycogen is the easiest source of energy for your body to use, and then after the workout to replenish those glycogen stores that you use throughout the workout. But in terms of breakfast, you don't have to eat breakfast at all. Like I said, I don't eat breakfast most of the week. As long as you're hitting those overall 24 hours calorie amounts, that is all that matters. In terms of stomach pain, that should not be because of you skipping breakfast. It might be because of the V8. I know you might be sensitive to one of the ingredients in there. I'm not entirely sure, but you should not get stomach pain just from not eating breakfast, unless it's like maybe your body's adapting to it, but it sounds like you've been doing that for a while. So maybe it might be the V8. I know on empty stomachs too, like some foods and some ingredients kind of trigger like nauseous feeling more so than others, especially on empty stomach. So maybe check that out and see if potentially that is causing you the stomach pain. Great question. Mark says, makes sense. Thank you. I used to eat so much and not gain weight at all. My body has changed after lockdown last year. Again, your body, you guys will be surprised. Your body adapts like pretty fast. So again, you only have to adjust one of these variables. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to do these crazy jumps on a week-to-week basis. You want to kind of milk as much fat loss by eating as much as possible and by doing as little as possible. Min, before joining your program, I did an aggressive cut, 500 calorie under maintenance, 1500 calories, that's way too low. And now according to your plan, I must eat 2300 calories. Can I just increase it? Yes. So, Min, send me a message afterwards. I'll look into more, I want to get more details on that. But with you, if you're someone that joined the program, you start off like prior to the program, like maybe if you want to do it by yourself and you did like this crazy, like Min did, 1500 calories, way too low. Then yeah, you kind of wrecked your metabolism there. So what I'm going to do with you, again, send me a message afterwards and we'll look into this. But first off, go straight to maintenance. Okay. I'll look into if 2300 calories is maintenance for you. But first off, I would go straight into maintenance calories and then let your body kind of do like a diet break, like a 1 week, kind of let your body readapt to that new calorie amount because obviously your metabolism is really hurting after 1500 calories cut, right? That's way too aggressive. And then kind of let your body reset, recover, let your hormones recover. It might take a couple weeks. And then once you're kind of back to baseline, once your weight is not moving at a higher calorie amount, then you kind of reintroduce the calorie deficit. And again, go slow. You want this to be sustainable. You want to be losing weight in 2 months versus losing a crazy amount in 1 week. Okay, so send me a message afterwards. I'll look into that more in detail. Let's see. Aaron says, if I'm in a caloric deficit, but I'm someone who's already doing a lot of activity if I'm in a caloric deficit, but I'm someone who already is doing a lot of activity day, should I up my calories a bit and then make up for all the activity? Does that make sense? Like if I'm eating 1500 calories a day, but doing a lot of lifts and cardio a day, am I too low then? So I can't give you an exact answer right now. It really depends on whether you're in a caloric deficit or not, right? Sometimes a lot of times people say they're in a calorie deficit when they're not. Again, if you've been eating like way too little, then your body adapts and you might think after a week, okay, I'm still in a calorie deficit, I should be losing weight. But to get wrong, your body adapts to that new stimulus after like a week and becomes, that's why I don't want any of you guys to go too aggressively right off the bat. It becomes damn hard to create, the goal is obviously being a calorie deficit, but it becomes harder and harder to create that calorie deficit if you're like cutting yourself short and kind of digging yourself in a hole by doing these crazy things right off the bat. So Aaron, with you, I would look into, first off, if you're in a calorie deficit or not, maybe you're not. Maybe your body has adapted to that 1500 calories a day and you got to change something. So either lower your calories by, and again, if you do that, 100 calories is all you need. Or look into increasing your step count or increasing, I mean, you already say you're doing a lot of hit and lists. So that is kind of maybe, again, your body adapts to that as well. So maybe start looking just walking 1,000 more steps per day. Right, that alone will create that deficit, or drop 100 calories in your plan. And again, all these variables will yield the same net result, which is creating a calorie deficit, which is the most important thing in the meal plan. So Aaron, send me a message afterwards. I can't give you an exact answer in your situation. I got no more information, but the first thing is maybe you're not in a calorie deficit. And if you're not losing weight, then you're definitely not in a calorie deficit, right? So that's kind of the first thing you got to fix. LA, if you have the diet plan on the app but are skipping the snacks but have a higher calorie meal later, does that matter? So LA, I think you probably just tuned in because I just addressed this. If you skip some of the meals or substitute some of the foods in the meal plan or the ingredients, it does not matter at all as long as you are hitting the overall calories and protein targets that I set out for you, right? Those are the two factors that is what's going to move the needle and determine whether you lose weight or not. So if you want to skip a snack and then add on to the dinner, totally fine. If you want to replace the snack with your own snack, you want to have bananas, have an apple, it will not make any difference at all, right? If you want to have that snack later on in the day, doesn't matter at all. As long as in that 24-hour period, you're hitting the calories that I set for you, you're hitting the protein that I set for you, you will make progress, okay? A lot, again, as Will said, a lot of people overcomplicate this when it's not needed. At the end of the day, it is pretty simple. It's just a matter of a lot of people want the results so fast, right? They cut everything so fast and they do these crazy changes that they kind of screw themselves over because in 3 weeks you're left, you kind of, like I said, you dig yourself a hole by doing all these crazy things right off the bat, and it's not sustainable, right? Fat loss, I think the overall arching theme of this live stream, guys, is fat loss. You should be eating with fat loss, you want to be milking as much fat loss by eating as many calories and by doing as little as possible. That's kind of the goal of the fat loss journey, right? You want it to be sustainable, you want it to be enjoyable, and if you do that, I promise you, if I do a 12-week cut, the first 9-10 weeks are easy. The last 2-3 weeks become hard, yes, but most of the journey should be easy, right? Because you're not doing these crazy adjustments. You're still eating a good amount. You're still, you're not doing crazy like an hour of cardio every day. Nobody should be doing an hour of cardio every day. Okay, so again, you want to kind of milk as much fat loss at a high as possible calorie interval as possible. Yes, I'm losing at 1500 right now with a refeed. I'll message you. So if you are losing at 1500 calories right now, boom, you're set. You don't need to do anything else. Only once you plateau is when I would adjust one of those variables by either increasing cardio, increasing step count, or decreasing calories. So it's all about energy in versus energy out, right? That's what will determine whether you're in a calorie surplus or a calorie deficit, right? So a couple variables that will determine your calories in, obviously your diet, and then the variables that will determine your calorie expenditure, cardio, needs, steps, all that stuff. What if we have a border collie that needs 1 to 3 hours of cardio a day? I mean, most of that will be obviously not like pure cardio, but more like so non-exercise activated thermogenesis. So just stuff like obviously playing with your dog is a great example. Me like kind of going like this, that adds up to your needs. So that definitely does compound over the day, and you'd be surprised. You could be burning a lot of calories just from your needs. So if you are someone with like an Apple Watch or a Fitbit, even your health app on the iPhone now can track steps. So yeah, it's definitely cool to track. And just if for me, I love like walking and kind of increasing my steps. But for me, cardio is kind of like the last thing I do. I don't even touch cardio for the first month of fat loss. First thing I do is kind of lower my calories and then go for walks, increase my steps, and then I'll start incorporating cardio. So that's my personal preference, unless I'm like doing tennis or stuff like that. Be prepared. I have questions coming to your messenger. All right, guys. So that was a 45-minute live stream. I'm going to end it here because I am going to go watch the England-Italy Euro finals. Who's watching that today, by the way? Comment down below who you got, Italy or England, today's Euro finals. So that's my Sunday there. Hope you guys all have an awesome Sunday. Again, that was an awesome training. Great questions, by the way. Today we had some awesome questions. I will be tagging this as a live training. So if you guys want to come back and rewatch this in a month, it'll be in the live training section of this group. So for all the guys, everyone that, by the way, hasn't gone through the tabs, guys, there's so much stuff in the tabs in the Facebook community. For example, files. You guys have to check out the files tab. There's so much stuff in there. We got the cookbook that I made a while ago. food substitution list. We got high calorie foods, low calorie foods, cheat days, refeed days, meal plans, supplementation guides. So check, there's a ton of stuff in there for all the guys that are new that haven't checked out the tabs in the group. Soon, at the end of the month, there's going to be a masterclass video series, so that will be in the guide section. And then in the home section, in the topics, you can go into more topics where I can like tag the posts, and those will be saved in the future. So all the live trainings, like I mentioned, will be saved, and you can come back and watch those live trainings, or go back and see if you missed any live trainings. Because in those obviously it's kind of going to be like today, where I cover a topic in more depth, in more detail, and kind of give you the 101 on that. So check that out if you're new and you haven't. There's a lot of value, there's a lot of information and goodies in those tab section of the group. So again, highly recommend checking that out if you haven't done so already. LA, go check out those tabs. Trust me, there's a lot. I've put a lot of effort into creating those files and those trainings. So check that out if you haven't already. So guys, I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for tuning in today's live stream. 45 minutes, that was crazy. Again, hope you all have an awesome Sunday, and I will be announcing the winner of the challenge tonight, 8 p.m. PST. So stay tuned for that. We had an awesome week of challenges, tons of almost 100 comments on that challenge this week. So I will be announcing the winner of that 8 p.m. PST, and then a new challenge tomorrow morning. So besides that, hope you all have an awesome, phenomenal Sunday, and I'll chat with all of you very soon.